So what I've seen, if you're working in Photoshop, this is an issue. If you're working in Illustrator, it's not going to be an issue because any shape that you make in Illustrator, you can right click on and you can arrange it and bring things to the front or push things backwards, etc. But all my Photoshoppers, what I'm seeing a lot is that you're coming in and maybe you're building something here. Maybe you're making something and then you're paint bucketing that in. And then you make something else, and I'm just kind of mixing up the colors here, and then you're paint bucketing that in, and then you go to move it, okay? So I want to move this black building over. I want it to overlap. I want the red one to overlap. I can't. I could not complete the request because the layer is locked. Biggest reason is right here. You're building on your background layer. As much as possible on this project, if you're doing Photoshop, you need to make sure that you are not building anything on your background layer. The only exception to that would be if you wanted to put a sky in. So like if you wanted to put like a beautiful bright blue sky or a black night sky, whatever it might be, you can go ahead and do that. But I would suggest doing other things on various layers. You should have multiple layers included there. So in this case, if you already made something gorgeous, if you need to, because these are a lot of single color designs, you can go to your magic wand, grab that item, and Control J. It's going to move that. If you look here, it's going to move that to its own layer. You can see that right here. And then I'll go back to my background layer, grab the black building, Control J, and that once again has moved it to its own layer. Then I would come back in here and then you could paint bucket in white. Now it looks like nothing happened. It did. If you take a peek, it used to be that, you can see, and now it's that. So now those items are movable. The only downside is if I move that black building, I've got a chunk taken out of it. So you might need to repair a few things before using them. So again, making new layers. How the heck do you make a new layer? You got this guy down here, which looks like a Post-it note with the corner folded. Or layer, new, and layer. Now, last thing, I want to encourage you guys to make sure that you are renaming those layers. This is super important. If you're not renaming those layers, you're going to get confused. I don't want you confused. You're going to have to blink layers on and off, especially when you're building and it's getting so big over here. You're going to have some trouble finding what you want to edit. Okay? So, good workflow. If I come in here, let's say this is part of my palette. I've got this dark blue in the sky. I'm on my background layer, and I paint bucketed that dark blue sky. Now, I'm going to make a new layer right above there. And I'm going to click right on layer 3 and call it stars. I can now come in with my brush, pick my star color. Let's say I'm going to go with a super pale white. I don't like that one. Super pale yellow. I click right there, make it a little bit lighter. And I could go cheese ball star with it. I could. This is a project where you could cheese ball it up a little bit. But then I can come in there and place those stars on my star layer only. If I place them on another layer and I try to erase, like on my background layer, and I need to erase that one, I can't do it. I can't erase it. I'm getting error problems, okay? So you do want to be very careful about not letting that happen. Work with things on their own layer so that later on you can move them around and make them effective tools. Okay? So pretty much that's what I wanted to talk with you about. Make sure that you are image size, 4 inches in height, 12 inches in width, 300 resolution, or the same height and width in Illustrator. And that is it.